What's up, Blasianeers and Blasianettes? Just recently, we just found out that Chyna passed away, and and I just wanted to make this video and pay my respects, to her. But I mean, I'm not much of a fan of the WWE. Um, but back when it was called WWF, and that's when I was more of a viewer. But I have to say, like, one of my favorite parts about watching, like WWF when it was called that was was China, and what I really liked about her is that she carried herself a lot differently than most women did in the business. Like how they would quickly go, like how most of them would be, I don't know, like, like, I mean, less classy, I guess, to put it more politely. and and with her, she was all about the fight, like she was all about getting in there and winning, and that and that's definitely the kind of woman that that you know female viewers should look up to. And I mean, I only remember very few women who carry themselves like differently than the rest of them, and in the business, or every I guess most of the women were typical, I guess. and and with China, I mean, she was one of the very few women who carried herself, like a lot differently, and she wasn't about that. She wasn't being, being trashy, to wrestling members. I'm going by from what I experienced, from my experience, from what I watched, and I'm pretty sure that China never went down that path in her career. Like when the cameras were rolling and she was there and they were backstage or where she was up, in the ring, like I never recalled her ever doing any of that stuff. And I mean, I'm not necessarily saying it's, I guess, a bad thing that the other divas were carrying themselves that way, but I mean, I guess what I really liked about her the most is that she didn't, and that she was different. I didn't like I'm obviously, I mean, like, I'm okay with the other girls doing that. It's all for entertainment, so, but I mean, but it's cool. It's really cool that at least one diva stood out from the rest, where she was over here, while everyone else was just over here, basically being the same, doing the same thing that the other diva is doing and whatnot. Like when they're backstage and just seducing another, like somebody and whatever and whatnot. I mean, I get it. I mean, it's all for entertainment and it's fun to watch. But I love that Chyna didn't put herself or allowed herself in that position. Again, through her career. So I don't know much about how she was in her personal life and or how her in her last days were, but and I don't know exactly, or nobody. I mean, there were no reports of how she passed, and some people may think it was drugs, and some may think it was, I don't know. I mean, that's what some people are speculating, but I mean, that's really sad that drugs are doing that to a lot of people, and where it's sad that like where you hear somebody like a well-known person has been has passed away, and it's drugs involved, and drugs are it's drugs that has taken them away from their loved ones and from their fans. And but I mean, yeah, I mean, I just gotta say, like, from the days that I did consider myself a viewer of, of wrestling, trying to, she definitely, was on the list of, wrestlers that stood out to me the most. And she's a legend. I mean, she's always been a legend. Like it's so it's no different now. I mean, her her legacy will live on. I mean, a lot of legends. I mean, the wrestling legends. Their legacy is still with everybody, with the fans, and within wrestling and all of it. And I mean, I wasn't able to watch much of wrestling because I didn't really have cable for like most of my childhood, and then when I got towards my teens, and that's when I started to finally have cable, and then I really started to really watch it every Monday and every Thursday and every well, not every once in a while, like every Sunday. Like that's how it was back in the day. And and I didn't really have the luxury of watching the pay-per-view events. I was a child at that time, and my parents wouldn't allow me to really order much on pay-per-views, so they definitely wouldn't let me do that. But if I could get away with it, I definitely would be watching every WrestleMania event. Like all through during that time. But I mean, no offense to people who think that wrestling is still great and they still watch it to this day, but it's just not for me anymore. But when it was, I mean, yeah, I mean, I mean, she was, I mean, and the way she carried herself, some men have their types, but I'm not really, I was never really attracted to women who are bulked up and everything, but but there's something about her, I mean, I know looks are not everything, but the way she carried herself and the way the way her body was built, and I still, to me personally, she was, I found her very, very, very attractive. And I was just like, wow, she broke down the fourth wall for me. Like wow. I mean, like that. I didn't think that was humanly possible for me personally. I mean, no offense to people who find, you know, um, bulky women, attractive, but I mean, we all have our preferences. But there's just something about China that that's just like why I just cannot get over. I'm just like, wow. I mean, how? I didn't think that was possible that I would find a woman who was bulked up, attractive. And I mean, what's mostly attractive about her is the way she carried herself. Like more than like carried herself differently than the other divas. That's the number one thing for me. But yeah, she was only 46. I mean, like it's a shame that these people are these people pass away so young. Like nowadays you hear people you hear someone pass away and they were only like really young. I could say like in their late 20s or their 30s, or even in their 40s, or even in their 50s. Like that is young. Like I feel that is young. And pay my respects to Chyna's family and to her friends and to her loved ones and to her other fellow fans, and yeah, it's really devastating. But yeah, I mean, but her legacy lives on, and I mean, and she's a legend, and she'll always be a legend in my eyes, and she definitely lives up to the ninth wonder of the world. So that's it. Rest in peace, Chyna. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.